Giridvaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janardana Yashodanandana Vraja Janardana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Radhe Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Radhe Radhe Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe Radhe Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayam Vishwapad Pramsa Paribrajacharya Asto Tarasatsi Simad His Divine Grace Li'avai Charanar Bindu Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nityalila Pavista Ong Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrajacharya Asto Tarasatsi Simad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Sri Rupa Sri Sanatan Bhatta Raghuna Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghuna Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Nama Acharya Sila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Shikaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Sisi Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Sri Braja Bhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai Sinabadip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Hidai Got Pramanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Gopal Krishna Goswami Kramini Prabhupada Sasaitanya Prakashati Tirtha Pacharanga Vansari Vipate Namo Maha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarine Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyanan Gyana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Se Juta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaisnavam Sa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadbhadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Visabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evasya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We continue reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized, text number 45. Everybody please repeat after me. Traigunya, Visaya, Veda, Nistraigunya, Bhava, Arjuna, Nirdvanva, Nitya Satvasta, Niryogakshema, Atmavan, Traigunya Visaya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, Nirdvanvo Nitya Sattvasto, Niryogakshema Atmavan, Traigunya Visaya Veda, Nastraigunyo Bhavarjuna, Nirdvanvo Nitya Sattvasto, Niryogakshema Atmavan, Traigunya Visaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna, Nirdvanvo Nitya Sattvasto, Niryogakshema Atmavan, Traigunya Visaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna, Nirdvanvo Nitya Sattvasto, Traigunya Visaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna, Nirdvanvo Nitya Sattvasto, Niryogakshema Atmavan, Traigunya Visaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna, Nirdvanvo Nitya Sattvasto, Niryogakshema Atmavan, Traigunya Visaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna, Nirdvanvo Nitya Sattvasto, Niryogakshema Atmavan. Mataji's. Traigunya Visaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna, Nirdvanvo Nitya Sattvasto, Niryogakshema Atmavan. Traigunya Visaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna, Nirdvanvo Nitya Sattvasto, Niryogakshema Atmavan. Traigunya Visaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna, Nirdvanvo Nitya Sattvasto, Niryogakshema Atmavan. Traigunya Visaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Nistagunyo Babarjuna Nirvandvo Sisadvasto
Niryoga Shema Atmavan.
Word for word meaning. Traigunya, pertaining to the three modes of material nature. Vishaya, and the subject matter. Veda, Vedic literatures. Nistraigunya, transcendental to the three modes of material nature. Bhava, be. Arjuna, O Arjuna. Nirvanva, without duality. Nityasattvasta, in a pure state of spiritual existence. Niryoga, Niryogakshema, free from ideas of gain and protection. Atmavan, established in the self. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Everybody please repeat. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Purport. All material activities involve actions and reactions in the three modes of material nature. They are meant for fruitive results which cause bondage in the material world. The Vedas deal mostly with fruitive activities to gradually elevate the general public from the field of sense gratification to a position on the transcendental plane. O Arjuna, as a student and friend of Lord Krishna, is advised to raise himself to the transcendental position of Vedanta philosophy, where in the beginning there is Brahma Jignasa, or question on the supreme transcendence. All the living entities who are in the material world are struggling very hard for existence. For them, the Lord, after creation of the material world, gave the Vedic wisdom advising how to live and get rid of the material entanglement. When the activities for sense gratification, namely the Karma Kanda chapter, are finished, then the chance for spiritual realization is offered in the form of the Upanishads, which are part of different Vedas, as the Bhagavad Gita is part of the fifth Veda, namely the Mahabharata. The Upanishads mark the beginning of transcendental life. Prabhupada says we should read Shi Upanishad first, then Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is also called Gita Upanishad. As long as the material body exists, there are actions and reactions in the material modes. One has to learn tolerance in the face of dualities such as happiness and distress, or cold and warmth, and by tolerating such dualities, become free from anxieties regarding gain and loss. This transcendental position is achieved in full Krishna consciousness when one is fully dependent on the goodwill of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai! So yes, in this text 45, the modes of material nature is being introduced. We never heard of gunas before, right? Is it the first time? First time you hear the word guna. Guna means modes of nature. Traigunya Visaya Vedha. That means these three modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, they are the predominating energy in this material world. This is what you call Bahiranga Shakti. Well, ultimately there is only one Shakti. What is it? Antaranga Shakti. Because everything is a reflection. Whatever is in the spiritual world, we have in the material world as a reflection. As Prabhupada says, perverted reflection. It is real, but it's temporary, so it is not real, in a sense. It is not false. My cell phone is real, but it can be destroyed by time. So the material energy is a reflection or the extension of the original energy, spiritual energy, Yoga Maya. It's like we heard the other day also from the class of His Holiness Vaishnava Swami, that there are two curtains. You remember that? Yes? Good. The curtain that pervades the eternal association of the Supreme Lord, that Krishna is God. That's Yoga Maya. But that makes the relationship more sweeter and more binding. The attraction between the Supreme Lord and His devotees becomes more and more intense because of this Yoga Maya potency. And the reflection in the material world of this Yoga Maya is, the external is, that external energy is called Mahamaya, which also the conditioned souls pervades them from seeing the Supreme Lord as God, because they are in illusion. Both are in illusion. Both are in the curtain of Maya. So all of us are in Maya. Either you are liberated soul or you are a conditioned soul. Say when we say in the early, we still say it sometimes with our devotees. Prabhu, you are in Maya. Wow, Prabhu, you're in Maya. You're late for Mangalarti. What? Oh, Maharaj. There is no reason. The Prabhupada says if you chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra strictly without any offenses and follow the 4 regulative principles, you will never get sick. Usually the sickness is in the mind, right? Mental. Bodily platform means mental platform. If one is in the mental platform, that means he is under the modes of material energy, the modes of nature. So people usually they perform activities according to these modes of material nature, and their intention is only meant to gain fruitive results, to enjoy the material energy, so to speak. As Prabhupada says, they want to be the Lord of all they survey. That means they want to accumulate more and more and more. This is what you mean by fruitive gain. You want more and more and more, even though you will never be satisfied with material gain. So the material world is like that. The more we want to enjoy the material energy, because the bewildering, this is the function of the material energy, to bewilder us and to bind us in this material world. to put us into illusion that we are the enjoyer, and the more we aspire to be like this, then the more we get entangled. The more we get lost in the quagmire of material existence. Our existence becomes prolonged. It's difficult to get out. Just like when one is in a quicksand, the more you want to get out, the more you sink. The more you want to enjoy, the more you get into trouble. The more you want to enjoy, the more your existence prolonged in this material world. So the Veda says, yes, we have to get out of this material energy, the bondage. Bondage. This is a real problem. A real problem is repeated birth, death, old age, and disease. And to get out of this, we have to take shelter of the Vedas. The Vedas are apurusaya, infallible, because Dharma tu sakshat Bhagavad pranitam. Only the Supreme Lord can enunciate Dharma or Bhagavad Dharma. Dharma tu sakshat, called Bhagavad Dharma or Sanatan Dharma. This religion of the living entities is to serve. So instead of serving the Supreme Lord, we come into illusion that I should serve myself, or extended wise, I should serve my wife or my husband or my children. I just want to make them happy. It doesn't matter. I don't mind suffering. I just want to see them happy. But in illusion, that happiness that one would like to achieve puts him into trouble. And the greatest bondage in this material world is family attachment. Thinking that, yes, it is real. My relationship. No. How many fathers, how many mothers, how many wives, how many husbands, how many children, how many siblings we had? It's like in that story of King Chitraketu, right? We told this story before. King Chitraketu has thousands of wives and he only has one son eventually. Huh? 1 crore? That's a lot. How many that? 100 million? 10 million? Only? More than Lord Krishna? They criticize Lord Krishna. Oh, he has 16,108 wives. Prabhupada says, oh yes, he's very lusty. Prabhupada says he can be unlimitedly lusty. But King Chitraketu is 10 million? Only? How can he manage that? How many palaces does he got? 10 million also? That's hard to imagine. It's like almost 3/4 of the population of Delhi. Eh? Some countries, that is the population. Like Ukraine, maybe. I don't think they have more than 10 million.
That's the Delhi population.
Huh?
It is a Delhi population.
Delhi. So that's a lot. So this is the material energy. But it says here, is for sense gratification, one wants to also elevate himself. So the Vedas is described in such a way that even those who are in the mode of ignorance, if they follow the Vedas, gradually they come to the mode of passion, and then mode of goodness, and then ultimately sattva gun, pure goodness. When one starts to inquire about oneself, atato brahma jignasa, or question about who am I, where am I going after death? Is there life after death? What's going to happen to me after death? Is there a better place than this? What is the goal of life? What is the goal of this human form of life? Is there God? Is there anyone who really created us? Who gives direction? How come all these planetary systems, they don't collide with each other? You've seen planes. The whole sky is so huge and planes still collided with each other. Or submarines. They get smashed with each other underwater. And underwater is such a huge space. But sometimes you're wondering also, it's like you've seen birds flying, like thousands of them, but they don't collide with each other, isn't it? Like go like this, go like that, go like this, go like that. And they're all going the same direction, but they don't smash each other. So there must be a controller. One should actually come to the conclusion. So everyone is struggling hard in this material world. That's what it says in the English, survival of the fittest. Struggling hard, and survival of the fittest is the name of the game. Survival, you have to survive out there. If you live in the big cities, we used to live in the cities in different parts of the world. We used to live in Toronto, New York, Chicago, Vancouver. These are big cities. Manila. And you really have to work hard to exist. And people, they're just happy to have something to eat. But they work hard. How much chapati you can eat? Even if you are an Ambani. Can you eat 20 chapatis? Maybe if it's really nice, popping like this, and then I think I did it one time. It's really nice when you go and invited in a village, and they prepare nice chapati and even simple sabji with a little bit of pure ghee. You can eat a lot. So the sensation, the happiness that everyone experience, even in the human form of life, or what to say of the lower species of life, the animals, is the same sensation, same happiness. The same sensation or happiness one derives from sleeping, but how much more can you sleep? The more you sleep, the more you get headache. You have experience of that, Prabhu? Yes? It's like in the weekends, the materialist, they will sleep till noon, but then they will have headaches. So, there is a portion in the Vedas called Karma Kanda section. When we say materialists, they're not even karmis. When we say karmis, that means they're followers of Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda means they follow certain rules and regulations so that they will achieve from the results of their fruitive activities some fruitive gain. Then eventually they'll get sick of it. One will eventually get sick of this. It's not that you will enjoy all the time. You will think that, hey, what kind am I getting here? What kind of happiness am I getting here? There must be something beyond this. Then one turns into Jnana Kanda. Started to understand, started to inquire. And then the Upanishads are the first. How many Upanishads are there? 108. 108. Just like our Japamala, the chanting beads. There are 108 there. It says 108 Upanishads or 108 main gopis. And yes, the process is that we start inquiring about the absolute truth. So when one inquires, start to inquire, then these books are available. I remember when I was like 14 years old, I started to figure out, hey, there must be something beyond what I am seeing. And I was brought up in a Christian family, Catholic, Roman Catholic. So I used to read the Bible all the time. Well, every day. But I was thinking this is not enough. There must be something beyond this. Because I don't feel so much satisfaction reading this book, the Bible. So I started to collect books. And then finally one day, I was in Manila and I got this book, Easy Journey to Other Planets and the Perfection of Yoga. The summary of the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita talks about controlling the mind, controlling the senses. Then I saw there, Bhagavad Gita. Every time you read every other sentence, Prabhupada would say, in the Bhagavad Gita, and in Bhagavad Gita says, what is this Bhagavad Gita? And then I was in one shop, you may say a hippie shop. That was 1977. Yeah, that's the hippie time, right? And then I saw the Bhagavad Gita. But I don't have enough money. I didn't have enough money. So I asked my mother if I can have some money to buy Bhagavad Gita. So I went to the bank. I made money order. Bank, what do you call this? Bank notes? What do you call it? Money order. Money order. I sent it to the post, to the address. But I did not receive my Bhagavad Gita. Only after 3 years. No. Yeah, 3 years. When I came to Canada. Then I bought my Bhagavad Gita from Los Angeles. And then I started reading. I cannot figure out what's going on here. So many names in the first chapter. Different characters. I cannot figure out. I still keep reading, and I cannot really figure it out. It's very difficult. But only after some time, when I met the devotees, that the Bhagavad Gita started to make sense. It says here, the Bhagavad Gita is a part of the 5th Veda, namely the Mahabharata. Mahabharata, the ancient history of greater Bharat, Mahabharat, because the whole planet is called Bharat, after King Bharat, Bharat Maharaj. And the history of the Pandavas, along with their struggles, along with the sacrifices that they performed to regain what is meant for them. Ultimately, the Bhagavad Gita is the heart of Mahabharata. And everything that we can learn in Mahabharata or in Bhagavad Gita is there. It's a universal knowledge. So, especially, we've just learned from the previously about the nature of the soul. And as long as this body exists, because the soul is there, we will have struggles in our life. The whole battle of Kurukshetra or the Mahabharata is about struggles. It's about pain. It's about sufferings. And ultimately, the principle of religion, truth, prevails. So, we also, as human beings, will have to face this. Our life is like a roller coaster. There's ups and downs. Not always going up. Mostly downs. But sometimes it goes up. We become enlivened. But for the materialists, I don't think there's, their sufferings, they try to cover. They try to think that they're happy by covering their miseries and sufferings. So much so that the more they try to cover, the more they suffer. This is the difference between a devotee's life and a sense enjoyer's life. We have all to face the battle. There's a big battle in our life. A battle of how to get out of this miserable condition of life. The more one wants to get out of the miserable condition of life with material solution, the more one suffers. But when one finds a solution in the spiritual level, spiritual practice, then inch by inch, one will get out of this material conditioning. Prabhupada says, survival of the fittest means not taking birth again in this material world. Survival of the fittest means I will do anything and everything, I'll put everyone away and aside as long as I'm happy. I am on the top of the world. The more you want to be on top of the world, the more you will go to hell. They don't know this. They don't know this. But for devotee, survival of the fittest means not taking birth again in this material world and not to suffer birth, death, old age, and disease. Happiness and distress may come in a devotee's life. It's like we've heard this morning. One's sufferings. Devotees also seemingly be suffering, but it's not really, because he knows he's not the body. He knows that he is beyond this material platform. And whatever he receives right now due to his past activities is very minimal compared that if he is not practicing Krishna consciousness. So one has to tolerate, the Prabhupada says here, many dualities. It's like we just passed by winter. Now we're on the way to summer. We just finished cold. Now we're going to go hot. Right? But for devotee, we come. Either it's winter time, we come for Mangalartik, we take cold showers, winter time. And then our cooks, our brahmanas will cook even in the middle of summertime, where the heat will be more, is multiplied much more, because you're in front of the burners. Right? Outside or inside it's hot, but when you're in the kitchen, it's gonna be multiplied much more. But the cooks will take the austerities. When really summer starts and it's there by 8 o'clock in the morning, it's almost unbearable already. The whole day. But we still continue our practice, because without austerities, this is what we call the wealth of the brahmanas. Austerities. Because by austerities, ultimately, we'll be able to show to Krishna that we want to attain Him, that we want to attain love of God. So, dualities may come, but we have to tolerate them. This is the solution. Because we should understand ultimately that the modes of material nature, there is no such thing as good also. Goodness. Good also is bad. Prabhupada says, there is nothing good in this world. Even good is not good. It's not good enough. It is still bad. It still will not satisfy one. So we have to tolerate. We know that it will come and it will go. And for the devotee's life, many tests will come. The more one advances in spiritual life, the more one will be tested by Lord Krishna. And the more you become stronger and stronger in Krishna consciousness, the more you will pass the test. The more you will pass the test. Sometimes devotees may ask, Maharaj, I've been practicing Krishna consciousness for many years. How come I don't feel like I'm making advancement? I still feel miserable. I'm not still able to chant my rounds properly. I'm finding it still difficult to read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Why is that? This is the test. If you are determined, you tolerate all of these things, the ups and downs, and be determined. Be inspired. Associate more with the devotees who are more enthusiastic than you are, more inspired than you are. Then the more you'll be able to get through to the difficulties. And especially the answer is constantly being engaged, especially in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. As Prabhupada says, if you have a glass full of water and you put an ink onto it, the ink will just overflow. It's not gonna make the water, the glass of water, more full. It's filled up. No more space. So the more we saturate ourselves with the activities pertains in devotional service, the more we have our 24 hours be filled up with activities in serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, our spiritual master, and the Vaishnavas, then there is no room for Maya. And all of these dualities may come, all of these sufferings may come, but it will not affect us. It will not affect us. As long as we have this body, miseries and sufferings will come. Guaranteed. 101%. But we will know how to deal with it. That is the difference. The problem with the materialists, they don't know how to deal with it. And they deal with it patchwork. Like patch up. It's like temporary. It will not solve the problem. But we know the solution. It's gradual. The Krishna consciousness is gradual, but it works. The materialists, they try to find a remedy with their miseries and sufferings. They want immediate result, but in the long term, it doesn't work. You just keep on patching it up. So therefore, there is no satisfaction. But for the devotees, it takes time. It says also, time heals everything. Is that right? There's a saying like that?
Yes.
Huh?
Time is the best.
Time is the best.
Time is the best healer. For me, I always want immediate result. It's like that is my nature. I don't know of you, but if I see something, I want immediate. My immediate reaction, okay, I want to solve it immediately. But it may work sometimes, but most of the times it doesn't work. You have to wait, be patient, but don't be neglectful of your duties. Always keep doing it. It doesn't matter what happened. You may not see the result immediately, but be steady. Slow and steady wins the race. It's like the tortoise. The rabbit keep on stopping. The rabbit is fast, but keep on stalling and stopping. Eventually, the tortoise passed through him. So similarly, we should be like this. Be enthusiastic, be patient, use everything for the service of the Supreme Lord. Be steady, be inspired. Everything is a combination of many, many things. And especially in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. I was just reading, I'm going to read you something about continuous chanting. Here is the opportunity. Human form of body. We can utilize the tongue properly and get out of these clutches. Sevan mukhe hiji badho. So seva. Seva means service. Jibado beginning from the tongue. So if we keep our tongue engaged, always chanting Hare Krishna mantra, because Krishna, this sound is not different from Krishna. Krishna is absolute. Nothing is different from him. Krishna and Krishna's name is not different. Krishna, that was in Hamburg, August 27, 1969. The following is from New York, 16th January 1967. Krishna, if you always keep Krishna in your presence, then where is the possibility of ignorance and delusion? No, there is no possibility. And this is the shortcut way of keeping Krishna always with you on your tongue. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if you are rigidly in this chanting process, you must understand that Krishna is with you, and there is no danger, there is no illusion, there is no Maya. So yes, gunas is mentioned here for the first time, and Arjuna says it previously reasoned that destroying the traditions would end the performance of karma kanda rituals. Krishna now defeats that argument by telling Arjuna to rise above those rituals which are contaminated by the gunas. It's always being in the modes of material nature means being contaminated. That means it's not pure. Okay, so we stop here. You have any points or any questions on this one? Govind, give me a glass, some water. Ask
100 beats are
some
in Japmalai.
bottle of water. Huh?
Why is 100 beats in Japmalai?
Why?
108 beats
Yeah.
in Japmalai.
Why?
Yeah.
That's what we said. Because there are 108 Upanishads and 108 main gopis. You can also have 54 if you like. Or 27. Or 1008. That means you need a big bag like this size.
No.
You'll not be able to do it, right? But I've seen Brajavasis. They have this 9, right? 9 beads, very small. But when I see them, they don't chant in one Maha Mantra in one bead. They chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Then you can see the whole beads are rolling. Right? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he would chant, he would count from his fingers. In those days, they don't use japamala, fingers.
Sometimes I have to.
See, the whole, yes, sometimes.
It is not
You see, the whole thing is that we have the mala to count. It's like I've seen devotees in America, they use this clicker, tally counter, and now they have inventions made in China. It looks like a japamala, but when you go like this, it rolls. You ever seen that? It costs 200 rupees in Mayapur. You have it?
Yeah.
You have it?
Yeah. No, I didn't have it. I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's like, or in the tally counter, they put one tulsi bead on the top. So you're touching the tulsi also while like clicking. See, we do this to count so that we regulate ourselves, not to go less, but to go more. Okay? So sometimes children, I ask them, can you chant 1 round every day? Can you chant 2 rounds every day? Promise? Okay? So for them, it's a practice now. We don't ask them again, hey, you must chant 16 rounds. No, they're children. So they become habitual to that. So I try to engage them in that way. For us, for adults, it's a 2 rounds. That's nothing. That's nothing. It's not it's not gonna help them that much. It's 16 rounds minimum, not maximum. Yes? Any other points or questions? Thank you, Prabhu.
Like when we read this, like Vedas is a very gradual process.
Yeah.
When we start bhakti, it's like we might be in a mode of ignorance or passion, goodness. But
Yeah.
it's sometimes very difficult when we are in mode of ignorance to do bhakti. So it's like a kind of, we are in a grade 1 and we are trying to do something of grade 12. So,
When Prabhupada says to perform bhakti, at least be in the mode of goodness. So now that we have come into this platform now at present, that means in some other lifetimes, or in this lifetime, somehow we have adopted mode of goodness. But this is not so easy to come to the mode of goodness immediately. Mostly in lazy mode of ignorance. So there is a chance for them to come someday to this platform. They will follow that portion of karma kanda portion of the Vedas which is in the mode of ignorance. Those who are, not all of them, but most of the followers of Lord Shiva is in the mode of ignorance. This is Lord Shiva's mercy on them. He engaged them for whatever modes they are, and then they elevate themselves. Most of the followers of Lord Shiva, not all of them are in the mode of ignorance. But then after some time, they'll come. Hey, they will start worshipping the different devatas in the mode of goodness. Not pure goodness, like Sarasvati or followers of Durga Devi. They're in the mode of ignorance, but at least they're following. So after some time, when you come to the platform where you're supposed to perform bhakti, you don't get into mode of ignorance anymore. Passion, no. At least mode of goodness. And Prabhupada says, and then when you come to the platform of bhakti, at least come to the platform of madhyam. Don't remain in the kanista or prakrita bhakta. Prakrita bhakta means materialistic devotee. There are still many materialistic devotees. Because not everyone comes to the surrender or no material desires. In those days, the devotees, all of their belongings, they will be in one box only, a Back to Godhead magazine. All of their properties will be there. And they all share socks. Sometimes you've seen devotees, they wear different colors of socks. Because whatever is there, they take, they use. They perform so much in the beginning of our movement, so much sacrifice, so much austerities devotees did. The first ones who came to India, most of them, they don't have Bisleri, they don't have mineral water like this. They all get sick. They all get diarrheas or jaundice. They sacrifice a lot. Now we're like almost enjoying them. But we should preserve it and make it, spread the glories in that way. So yes, if we cannot see ourselves, if you have a friend, you can ask, my dear friend, can you see something from me that I need to improve? It's like we don't see ourselves. Others see more of us, especially the guru, spiritual master. He can penetrate. He can see more. They're very, very realized, or they're very aware of what's going on. Because usually you can tell the person by his face. Face is the index of the mind. You can see a person who is worried. He cannot hide it. You can see a person who is angry. You cannot hide it. You can see a person if he is happy. You cannot hide it. And you can see a person who is in a mode of ignorance. You can see a person, a devotee who is suffering. You don't need to speak, but we can tell, we can say. So get out of the mode of ignorance. Read more, chant more, hear more, and eat more prasadam. Only prasad. Okay? So like today we had some nice feast. But we cannot eat like that all the time also then. We'll get sick. Every day if we eat too much, we'll get sick. We have to be regulated. That is mode of goodness. Don't eat too much, don't eat too little. Don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little. Don't work, well, you can work harder. But don't work little. Prabhupada worked so hard. Only sleeping 2 hours, 3 hours a day. 4 hours. The Goswamis, the 6 Goswamis, sometimes they even forget to eat. But we cannot imitate those devotees, no. So be in the mode of goodness. And if you're in the mode of ignorance, you can ask your friend, can you please tell me? I know something is wrong with me. Please tell me. A real friend will tell you. A real friend will tell you, hey Prabhu, you have some, a little bit of prasadam on your face. That's a real friend. If you walk around with prasadam and no one is telling you, no, a friend will say, hey Prabhu, there's some prasadam here. They will say like this, thank you Prabhu. That's the friend. A friend will tell you what is good for you and what is not bad for you. Or what is bad for you. Okay? What should not be done by you. That's a real friend. Anything else?
Actually, it has been said that you should not eat too much, you should not eat little. But when we try to follow it, then elders say that no, now you are in the growing age, you should eat
more. Eat more. But this is more. For me, this is more. But I think what you said more for me is not good for me because I cannot digest it. I know what is more for me now. I'm already grown up. Right? I mean, it's like if you have a big feast and devotees started to like pile it up and pile it up and pile it up. And then you will say, oh yes, I can finish all of this. And then after you finish, oh, I have to go to the bathroom 10 times. Oh, I have to take some medicine. I have stomach ache. Once you become really like, you know, how much is too much? Prabhuji, Torah, 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 Torah. Right? Because you have like 20 preparations, how much more you can eat? Okay? But if you can eat like a horse, Prabhupada says you should also work like a horse. That means if you can eat a lot, because you have to burn that. And most of us, devotees, our work is mental work. We don't work physically, like hard labor. Most of us are in the office, like Sadhu or Narendra Prabhu. Pujaris, they don't move so much, they move more of their hands. So right? So yeah, the more we become mature, the more we will be able to control the demands of the body, physically, intellectually, mentally. We should know how to do this. Otherwise, we'll become sense enjoyers. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he doesn't like his disciples to be fat. You should be fit, right? Not fat. But you look okay. You eating enough? Yes? Okay. Anything else? Yes, Prabhu. I cannot see you. Where are you? Come up.
Thank you for the message.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, until and unless we are in the modes,
Of nature.
in the modes,
Yeah.
repeated cycle of birth and death will continue.
Yes. As long as we are under the modes of material nature, then we'll keep repeating birth, taking birth again and again. But for the pure devotees of the Lord, they are here. They take birth also amongst the conditioned souls like us, but they are not under the modes of material nature. They have specific duties or business to do. Our taking birth is because of karma. The pure devotees of the Lord, they come to help us, to save us from this miserable condition. Yes. Yes. So for those grihastas, we should pray that, their children grow up to be Krishna conscious. But I said it the other day, better than that is that they should pray that their children become instruments of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in spreading Krishna consciousness. Because Prabhupada says the future, our children, they'll be so powerful. They'll be flying in a carpet. They'll be sitting here and then they'll be traveling in the carpet. They'll be powerful. The demigods are waiting, Prabhupada says, demigods are waiting to take birth in ISKCON. So in the future, some of these children, you don't know. Actually, they're like very powerful preachers. Because as Kali Yuga, for the next 10,000 years, Krishna consciousness will just spread like fire. And it will not be easy. Year by year. We can see it now. Year by year, the whole world is going down. It's not going up. Life is not becoming easy. No, it'll become more and more degraded. It'll become more and more nasty. When Kali Yuga progresses more and more, oh boy, let's get out of here immediately. It's gonna be hellish. It's gonna be hellish. People will live underground. There's no more sugar. Now there's no more cow's milk. Practically, isn't it? They just say, whenever I see our milkman delivery. She said, "Gai dud hai?" "Ah, gai dud hai, gai." She said, "Bilkul hai, bilkul." Yeah. How can you sure? No more sugar, no more grains, no more nothing. How are we gonna live? Oh boy. Just imagine now, 100 years from now. What is 100 years in 10,000 years? Nothing, right? So 100 years from now, what is it gonna be like? Oh boy. No one will be able to go back and forth here in front of our temple. Maybe it'll be going back to basics. They will all use bullock carts because there'll be no more petrol, no more electricity. Everyone will go back to basics. Use candle lights.
We will be eating genetically modified food.
Yeah, they'll be eating garbage. That's what it means. What? Nothing. We really better take advantage of this now. Okay, 100 years. What about 1,000 years from now? Oh boy. It's hard to imagine. 10,000 years is still quite long. Okay? Get out of here. As Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, when you go in the latrine, you don't spend the whole day there. You do your business and get out from there as soon as possible. So similarly, we are here, try to get out of this world, but also help others to get out. Your passage, getting out will be quicker, expedited as well, when you help others. You want to say something, Narendra Krishna Prabhu?
Continue verses is that somebody asked what happened after 10,000 years.
Yeah.
But answer was, you eat me and I eat you.
Yeah.
That we can be
They're gonna eat each other. There's nothing to eat. What are you gonna eat? It's like we've heard that stories, like airplane, they got stranded up there in the mountains, snow. To survive, they have to eat their friends. Well, what can you do? Survival of the fittest. They have to eat their friends and they remain alive. They survive, but they have to eat their friends. Oh boy, it's hard to imagine that. I hope it will not happen to us. Right, Govinda? Chaitanya? You don't want that, right? No. Let's eat rasgula, gulab jamun, kachori, jalebi. Srila Prabhupada K.